Hi everybody, my name is John Shaughnessy and I'm here to do a presentation on my pyramid theory. Wrote a book, got a couple books out, and gaining traction out there in the world of theoretical physics, geophysics, and people are starting to come around. So it's going to zip through this. It should take less than 40 minutes, two videos. Two 20-minute videos. I got a cheap camera. It only got a 20-minute brain. I don't know why. I mean, the card should take like 85 minutes, but for some reason they've got some kind of zip file going on, unbeknownst to the rest of the world. You don't find this out until after you buy the camera, by the way. Anyways, let's move on. Let's get it going on. Ancient geoengineering outline. Sources of gravity, sources and control, dimensions of gravity and lensing, alignments between pyramids and volcanoes, alignments between Earth's mountain ranges, Type 3 society, densitogram on the Great Pyramid of Giza, the moon. The moon's the big part, the big engine behind everything on the planet, and along with the sun. But as far as the energy behind the engine behind the pyramids, it is the moon. Tectonic plate, magma currents, and locking magnetic north into true north. So, just zip right along here. Oh, button push. No. Yep, that's the right one. Okay. We got the pyramid gravity force, the book of books. How the Earth's pyramids work. It's available on Amazon and paperback. I'll get it on. Get the second edition out pretty soon. Got 3-4 times the material that this book has, but I mean, it's a lot of ideas. You know, it gets the breaks through on a lot of technologies and a lot of new technologies and a lot of new theories. So the 7 major factors in ancient geoengineering: the sun, earth, volcano, magma currents, pyramids, and the biggest tour de force gravity player of them all, the moon. And of course, gravity itself. There hasn't been a major success in theoretical physics in the last 2 decades. I think it's more like 5 decades myself, but science is not about certainty. Science is about finding the real or the best reliable way of thinking at the present level of knowledge. Newton thought of himself as a philosopher. He was philosophizing. Right here is a good description. You have your mountains in the background here, or pyramids. They're all clear lenses. Everything in the subatomic world where gravity is pulling, releasing, is basically just flows right through these things. And they act like lenses. Lenses. Here's my big alligator lens right here. Maybe I can get you, maybe we can burn a hole through my screen. As you can see, it condenses the light right down to a tight spot. Okay? That's what a pyramid does with the graviton flow from the moon. It's all about the moon's gravity. And right here we have some basic mechanics behind plate tectonics. You've got shield volcanoes, you have transform plate boundaries, divergent plate boundaries, converging plate boundaries. You got the subduction plates. We're all familiar with these. The Sumatra subduction zone. You got a subduction zone in California. You can say that's California. This might be Asia over here. So two subduction zones. Stratovolcanoes, the continental crust. Give you an idea of what's going on under your feet. Another beautiful picture. This also gives you a great rendition of the mid-ocean ridge where the new magma comes in and it breaks the plates going east and west towards the continents that are stationary. I reject the theory of Pangea and things of tectonic plates flowing around because my laws of gravity basically suggest that the plates are stationary. And you know, honestly, another thing, it's just common sense. If you had Pangea just for a microsecond on the planet would rip itself apart. Just imagine all the continents stuck on one side of the world. It's just absolutely ludicrous that this even got into the mainstream. But hey, you know, it's like I said earlier, you know, we're only as good as the knowledge that we have at that point in time. So kudos for the guys that picked it up and ran with it. Now it's time to shift to something a little bit more logical, okay? I'll be supplying evidence throughout this video, and it's repeatable evidence, observable evidence, physical facts. Facts, we're talking facts, things that you can see, put your hands on, okay? Again, another image, the currents that, you know, basically supply, say in this particular point it would be the Hawaiian hotspot right here, and or this could be the Hawaiian hotspot, but either way you have you know, two circulating currents that just stay stationary and create that constant erupting volcano. We'll get into the mechanics of why that exists as we progress through this video. Okay, ash cloud. This causes a lot of cooling if it has a high sulfur content, because sulfur has a reflective property. And they get the magma chamber. Ironically, it kind of looks like a pyramid. You know, it's got the shafts, king and queen shaft there. But you know, just to give you an idea, it's a composite volcano, typical volcano. Now, what these pyramids do, the large pyramids around the world, they all line up with volcanoes. And what they do is they create a constant erupting volcano. These are natural forming volcanoes. They blow up, kill everything for miles around, and then they seal up for thousands of years, and then they blow up again. In some cases, a few hundred years, or not even 100 years. So, I mean, they're all over the place, but they're quite dangerous. Hence the reason to have some geoengineering. This is a great GIF here. This shows the Earth spinning around, roundy, 1100 some odd miles an hour. You got a moon high tide versus a moonless high tide. This is how gravity works on your planet Earth. Again, here's the moon. It's pulling the, you know, on the moon side you got the high tide, but look you over here, you got a high tide on the moonless side. The current explanation for the physics community is that this is caused by centrifugal force. Rubbish! Absolute rubbish. It's caused because the gravity bubble is being stretched towards the moon. There's a character named Barry, and he surmised that the Barry center is actually over here where my laser beam is. Here's the axis, here's the Barry center. What it does is it pulls the gravitational field, the whole gravitational field this way, and consequently, John Shaughnessy, yours truly here, discovered that it lowers the gravitational field on the moonless side, and that, in effect, creates the moonless high tide. Not centrifugal force. Centrifugal force might have a little bit to do with it, but it is not the whole enchilada. All right, another great facts, figures, like I was saying earlier in the video. I'm going to be presenting, you know, repeatable evidence, observable evidence, things you can put your hands on, things you can look at. Get a globe, any place, get a globe out there, spin it around, put your finger here, right? 180 degrees away in the same latitude. If this is a pyramid 180 degrees away, you're gonna, wow, I just did that without even looking. This is how far I'm into this theory. I landed right on Hawaii, so 180 degrees away, Giza, right? Right there. I can do this stuff in my sleep. So, a little blue on there. Hey, a little blue Earth. Anyways, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. It's all that simple. It's here, 180 degrees away, the other side. You have an alignment between a pyramid and a volcano. Right here is a topographical view of your planet Earth. Flat Earth people must love this one. You ain't got Antarctica around there. Anyways, all the Earth's large pyramids and volcanoes line up 180 degrees from each other and on the same approximate latitude. Egypt's Nile Valley Pyramid lines up with the Hawaiian hotspot. Chinese Shen pyramids line up with Bermuda Island, an extinct super caldera. Actually, it's 2 super calderas. Mexico's Pyramid of the Sun, Sri Lanka, lines up with Sri Lanka, and it's a volcano out there by the name of Mount Sigiriya, an extinct volcano. The irony here is that there's paws at the base of this volcano that rival the paws on the Great Sphinx of Giza, and it's got a magma plug that's shaped like an elongated skull. Somebody's got a sense of humor out there. Levante El Tigra pyramids in El Mirador, Guatemala, line up with the Nicobar Islands in the Indian Ocean. That's not on here. And what else? You have a few other pyramids. These constant erupting volcanoes, 3 constant erupting volcanoes, but only one is currently working. So, in effect, you have Giza lining up with Hawaii. You got the pyramids of the Sun in Mexico lining up with Sri Lanka. You have Shen pyramids lining up with Bermuda super calderas. Actually, 2 super calderas, like I said earlier. Moving right along, got some great images here. Again, physical facts, physical observable evidence that these things all tie together. When you start going up into the hundreds of pyramid aligning with volcanoes, it's not just hearsay, it's not just crazy wild stuff, you know, just bringing things out of the ether or pulling things out of the sky and make believe. These are physical facts. Unbeknownst to the geophysics community, and most people that haven't read my book, honestly, are seeing one of my videos. So you know, it's time to shift gears, and this is all part of it, is observing the observable evidence. Again, you have pyramids and a dog leg, and then you have the Hawaiian Islands and a dog leg. Whoa, what's going on there? So it's not just an alignment of 180 degrees on the same approximate latitude. It's more going to it. The reason these pyramids are set up in a dogleg fashion, there's lots of them, many large pyramid configurations around the planet are set up this way, and this is to accentuate the incipient stage. It creates the incipient stage of a gravitational spiral vortex, like a Fibonacci circle. So I mean, the Fibonacci curve's right here. The planet spins into the moon's, this small pyramid spins into the moon's gravitational field first, and it sets up the Fibonacci vortex spiral, gravity spiral, so it keeps it a nice tight vortex. And in effect, it brings all these masses together. These are all giant graviton lenses. We'll get into that a little later, but this is the end result, is keeping a constant erupting volcano pushing magma out. There's some, this planet was designed, divine design by very highly intelligent people, and I think we're related to them. I think maybe there's some kind of relationship to them. Sun Pyramid Complex, Mount Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. Again, you got your little, Quetzalcoatl, Sun Pyramid, and then the moon. Again, this breaks into the moon's gravitational field, and then Mount Sigiriya is over here somewhere. You can't see it, but that's Sri Lanka. Again, that was used to calm the tectonic plates in the Indian Ocean. You have the Shen pyramids in China. Again, you get your dog leg here, and you have Bermuda Island, 2 super calderas. And the irony here is you get these straight pyramid lines, and you get some straight, formations on the floor of the ocean right off the coast of Bermuda. More observable evidence. The Azor Pyramid, recently found underwater perfect pyramid-shaped structure discovered. Lines up with Tamu Massive, the largest volcano in the solar system, or the second largest. I think it rivals Olympus Mons on Mars. It's a close tie anyways. But That being said, just a little stop right here for a second. Once these things go underwater, they cease lensing the moon's gravitational field. So right now they're underwater, they're not lensing off of each other, between each other. When you go into ice building mode, the ice age, the oceans will drop, and these two will come into play again with each other. Again, 180 degrees opposed to each other on the same approximate latitude. Come on, people. Come on, man. Levante, El Tigre, pyramids, and the Adamant Nicobar Island. These pyramids are absolutely, they're superimposed on the jungle, but they're twice the size of Giza, 1,000 feet high, monsters, absolute monsters. They've been basically, taken over by the jungle, but they are in fact still lensing the gravitational field of the moon, keeping this tectonic plate nice and soft and malleable. We have, what do we got here? This is Bosnia's, the Sun Pyramid, and it is a volcano. It's north of the Midway Islands, right up in here with it. You can't, it's just out of view. Again, this lines up with Volcano that is submerged right now, and it's dormant. But again, it's thousands of miles north, as 1,000 miles plus north of the Hawaiian hotspot. Ancient technology going on. Ancient technology. You have Mount Kailash, a giant man-made pyramid. Maybe not man-made because it's solid stone, but it was carved into a pyramid, geometrical shaped pyramid, and a trapezoid. Most of these pyramids are trapezoids, hence the word trap. That's why they're cut off on the top there, root word, trapezoid. Anyways, this pyramid right here, actually mimics this temple in India, the Kailash temple in India. It's been hijacked by the religious institutions, but obviously it is a calendar, okay, of large cycles. These are probably zodiac symbols, and we've lost the knowledge of how to read it and what the big cycles are. Nevertheless, my new discovery on the moon, there are 5 images on the moon. You can read the moon and it'll tell you where you are in the largest cycles on Earth. Getting off topic here, but just keeping it moving here. Yellowstone super caldera actually lines up with Mount Kailash. It's a thermostat. So if the tilt doesn't happen first, this thing will shut down, cool the planet off. There's multiple protection devices on this planet set up to keep it from overheating. So don't worry. The ice age will be coming to a continent near you. This is the effect we're not paying attention to your pyramids, letting them fall into disarray, blasting them out of the way to put a superhighway through, open them up to create amusement parks. There's 300 plus pyramids in Central America that line up with the Indian Ocean, and a good portion of it lines up with the Sumatra subduction zone. And these pyramids basically deflect the gravitational fields and lower the gravitational fields to allow the magma current to rise in that particular area of the world to keep that tectonic plate sliding freely, those 2 tectonic plates sliding freely. And most of the time they do pretty good, but every once in a while we have an energy buildup, and this is the end result. It's the tsunami out there in Japan. Basic science here, real basic, simple, right to the point. Again, a little bit of rehab on the pyramids around the world can prevent all this madness from happening. Get control of your tectonic plates, your magma currents, and who knows, we might even make a Type 1 society according to the Kardashian scale. I don't think we're Type 1 yet. We're about 100 years out, because that's about how long it's going to take for people to wrap their heads around this this theory of yours. This ain't mine. This stuff was already out there. This is none of my stuff. I'm just here to point out the obvious. I asked what this stuff was for, and I got the download. So be careful what you ask for, because when you ask for something, you get the responsibility with it too. Anyways, I'm sitting around, I'm looking at my globe, And I'm spinning it around. Okay, what else is going on? Okay, we found out a lot of pyramids line up with a lot of volcanoes.